Here's to the crazy ones.
Oh, my screen. Hold on. All right, guys. Time out. Restarting the intro. All right, cutscene. New intro.
Here's to the crazy ones. The misfits. The rebels. The troublemakers. The round pegs in the square holes. The ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do.
Welcome back, everybody. Back again. Good morning, Maximus. Amazing Friday, amazing week. It's always a great week in Maximus. Like, what can you complain about? Let's be honest here. Another strong day on the charts. Yesterday was our third ever red candle on the daily chart since since the end of the launch phase, end of the minting phase. It was our biggest sell-off on a per-day basis ever, with 5.5%, and we've already retraced most of that. Yesterday this premium fell to as low as, just for a brief moment, down to 1.56. Instantly wonked right back up. Just about every time I checked yesterday, it was hovering right around 1.69, and then here we are. We're another strong day. A lot of demand for Maximus, a lot of people wanting that exposure to the max length HEX stake and the HEDRON that comes with it and the liquidity benefits. And so, that's why whenever you look at these, there's sellers and there's buyers. And when you look at it, seems like a lot of the buyers are bigger than the sellers, and you see that reflected in the charts. So, we're not going to spend too much time on the price charts today. Because today we're not really talking about the price. What we're really going to focus on is the redemption rates. The redemption rates are a core driver of the contract. It's how the contract knows how many HEX and how many HEDRON are redeemable per MAXI when the stake ends. And so the redemption rates, you can read them in if you go on Etherscan, you can. Their functions get HEDRON redemption rate and get HEX redemption rate, and so these tell you the rate at which MAXI may be redeemed for HEX, and then the rate at which MAXI may be redeemed for HEDRON, and so these numbers are. This is the whole core premise of Maximus is these redemption rates, and so today we're going to be discussing how those are calculated, and then we're gonna, do a thought experiment of a hypothetical situation in which a bunch of the MAXI supply just gets burnt. And I see here the bench warmer, the free pulse MAXI, says, "Not gonna lie, the stream title has got me all hot and bothered. Drop some alpha on this, sir." Well, this is, take it what it is, and not saying alpha, because alpha suggests that something's going to pump. Certainly have no expectations, and this is purely a hypothetical situation of what would happen if there was some type of event where the end result was a big burn, and so that's what we'll be diving into today. Thanks for joining us. So yeah, I guess probably the first place to start is, why don't we just take a look in the contract, and we'll actually go through the section where it shows you how these redemption rates are calculated. And so today's is going to be a shorter stream because I actually have a hard stop here in about 25 minutes. So we're going to try to get through this pretty quickly. This will be a nice short video. Let's go full screen here. And then, so there's a function in here called calculate redemption rate right here. And so this is the function that's used to calculate both the HEX and the HEDRON redemption rates. It's called, there are two places where it's called. One, it's calculated when the stake ends. So the only time that the HEX redemption rate is ever updated is when end stake HEX is run. So this can only be run after the stake end day. It can only be run once, meaning that this contract can only start one stake and end one stake. And then the way it calculates it is it gets the HEX balance. So it ends the stake. And then all that HEX now is in the contract address. It measures from the HEX contract the balance of its own address. So it, here, let's zoom in so you guys can see better. So it calculates how many HEX the contract address holds. It measures the total MAXI supply at that time. So at the time of end stake, the contract reads what its own total supply is. So, interface ERC20, its own address, dot total supply. So it runs the function to measure its own supply at this time. So this is very important. This is not when, it's not measuring it based on the minted supply. It's not measured based on any other time. It's only the total supply is measured at the end of the stake. And then the HEX redemption rate is measured by running this calculate redemption rate, where it passes it the HEX balance that it just measured and the total MAXI supply that it just measured. And so, so let's look at this calculate redemption rate function. So it has this scaling function. This is just because in Solidity, there's no decimal points. So in order to divide something and get a percentage, you have to first multiply it by a large number and then scale down by a large number. So here's just like this scalar. And so it's a very simple equation. It's the treasury balance, meaning the HEX balance, because this is used for HEDRON too. So it's either the HEX or the HEDRON one. We'll get to the HEDRON one in a second. But so the balance in the treasury times that scalar, just for the integer thing, divided by the MAXI supply. So that's all it is. It's just simple division. And we know that when you divide one number by another, if the denominator becomes smaller, that end result is larger. And so what we, so that's how the redemption rate is calculated. And then that's just what it's set. And then when you go to the, let's just go to Ether. We'll just pull it up right here. Something cool is Maximus now shows up in search on Etherscan. The image is right there. Price is still not there. CoinGecko's they've actually been really responsive. Their source of price data does not show the Uniswap V3 pair because they only, their API only includes pools that have over 60 ETH of one of their whitelisted assets, which HEX is not. And so since our main liquidity pair is HEX, they do not include it in their API. So that's when the price will show up. So hopefully that gets resolved soon. But when we look at this, like you can read the HEX redemption rate and you can read the HEDRON redemption rates in here. And so those ones are pulling from this number. This HEX redemption rate value is what is displayed by those functions. So you can read those at any time. And then it just, sets that value on end stake to be the whatever was calculated there with the HEX balance of the total MAXI supply at that time. And then mint HEDRON is a little bit different. This one actually gets set over time as they go. And then whatever it is at the end, like the last time it's run before the stake ends, that's what it is. So this one, so the HEX redemption rate is always going to be 1. And that's just because it only gets updated once at the end. Whereas the HEDRON redemption rate, that actually gets updated every day. As you know, every time it's run, we see this HEDRON redemption rate get updated. So here, why don't we let's do something here. Let's take a look at the so one, why don't we just like run the mint HEDRON function? So where do we find this? So here, we're going to run this mint HEDRON function. So here, let's read the HEDRON redemption rate just so we can, so here, we're going to write this down. So here, so current HEDRON redemption rate. So I just put that in the comments, and then let's go and find our, let's find our stake here. How do we do that? We can go to the Kodiak graph, subgraph hex. Okay. And we are going to search for our stake. I think we could also do it in hex.vision, but we'll just do it right here. So we're going to first, what we need to do is we need to find our thing again. So I don't want to encourage people to be running this mint HEDRON function. It should only be for experts, because you can, if you don't do it right, you could waste gas. So I do not recommend you doing it. But just for the sake of an example here, live on video, we're going to be doing this. So we need to look at where stake address is. So let's hit run. Okay, there we go. Stake ID 623019. I had that in my head. I don't know why I didn't just know it off the top of my head. Okay, so right now we're gonna connect our wallet to Web3. So this is the wallet that in a prior video people had sent some funds to, just because we were trying to, I think actually try to run this, so, but what we're going to do is, you just paste it in here. We're going to click right. I hope no one's run this today, because it's going to waste me gas. So, and it costs $26 of gas right now to do it. So this is not, you shouldn't be anxiously waiting to run it. We're just going to run it anyways. And it's honestly not that strategic to run it right now, because say there's a big AMR bonus in the future, then, today and the last couple of days, since it was ran last, those days won't get the AMR bonus. But this is just for an example. We're trying to learn something new here today. So once this goes through, we're going to see that the HEDRON rate before that. So let's see. So once that goes through, we'll get to see that. But yeah, so what we're going to see here is that the because this is calculated as time goes on, then it this HEDRON redemption rate will get updated every time mint HEDRON is run, and so that's what we just did. Okay, looks like it was confirmed. Here we go. So let's see that. Come on. Let's wait for it to go through. Okay, there we go. So we just minted ourselves $1,404 worth of HEDRON. Or no. That's, yeah. So we just minted ourselves that. We broke off $1,100 for our bro Alex, or whoever gets this. We love them, so we're thankful they're getting paid. Doesn't feel like it comes at our expense. So kudos to you guys. So that's how that worked. And then what we see here, I wonder if it's in the logs too. No, it's not. Okay. So we saw in the comments what that HEDRON redemption rate is. Let's go ahead and, where are we? Let's just refresh it just to kind of see what it is. So now when we click get HEDRON redemption rate, it updated. So new HEDRON redemption rate is going to be that. So I just put it in the comments there in the chat. And so so like that's how that redemption rate works, that whole calculation. And so it's all driven by this, like you see here in that calculate redemption rate function, it says by MAXI supply. And here we say total MAXI supply is IERC20 address.this dot total supply. So this total supply function is this function right here. So this is what tells us what our total MAXI supply is. And so like everything for redemptions is driven by this total supply function. And so what happens to this total supply number if you were to, or anybody, or maybe some smart contract, or maybe some, someone who just wanted to give MAXI or give their hex equally to everybody in MAXI? What if they ran this function, this burn function? So why don't we see what it is? So first, what we're going to do is we're going to read from here what this get total supply is. I'm going to copy this in the chat. So MAXI total supply before burn. Right. So that's what it is now. Now we have connected our wallet and we're going to burn one. Let's see how many. I think I have 2 MAXI in here. So let's burn some easy that we can pick up on easy. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that should be like 1.23 MAXI. And let's burn this shit. It's going to cost me $10 in gas. So burning $10 of ETH to the miners, which they burn part of it. But so let's burn that. And then once that goes through, let's see, let's just view that. Am I the only one that sits here and just clicks refresh, waiting for their transaction to get through? Okay, well, that's going. Let's see what the chat has to say. Wow, you fire say, what's up, Sweaty Hexagon? Afternoon. Yep, you must be a European. Plans for MAXI contracts coming or one and done? I don't know, man. You tell me. Current heads and redemption. Oh, yeah, that's us. What's up, Matt? Retro Static says, I'm in the mood for redemption. We're claiming it all day. Yep. Hex Huddle says, hey, y'all. These are just mine. Crypto Sloth, what's up, man? Okay, so I think that transaction just went through. Yep. So here we are. We just burnt from contract address to null address 1.2345678 Maximus. And so now let's take a look at what the new total supply is. So here's the new one. So I'm going to put this in the chat. So MAXI total supply after burn. So look at that. It went from 294.316.333.767 to 294.316. So this was it before. See, notice the threes, the 333. And then after we burnt, it went to those 333s turned to 332. So that's exactly what happens when tokens get burnt. So if there's a smart contract or just someone just wanted to burn their own MAXI, which don't do that unless you really want to give your what you're doing is you're giving your HEX and HEDRON to everyone else equally. It's like you're distributing it equally to every other person. So don't do that unless you really want to, or if it's part of some other thing where you get something else, as a benefit. So I don't recommend doing this on your own. But what I just wanted to show you there was that this total supply number, which the redemption rate calculations are driven by, is absolutely impacted by by any time that this burn function in the Maximus contract is run. And so, so right there, I just burnt one maxi. So that was like, what's 1 divided by 294, 123, 123. So that is only like 0.000000003% of the maxi, but what if that's something like, 29 million maxi, 123, 123. What if 29 million maxi was burned? And then 294, 123, 123. So that's 10% of the total maxi. And if that was suddenly burnt, that means that all the hex and hedron are now divided up over less maxi tokens. And so each maxi will then, the redemption rate of that maxi will then increase. And so where you will see that reflected is on our dashboard page, which will, here where it shows backing per maxi, where, so far we've already gained by 1%. What you will see is that the backing per maxi, if there was a massive burn event, this value would grow and this value would grow because there's now suddenly just less maxi to be distributed by. So I think that's a really exciting part of Maximus. It's kind of like the default behavior of using the Open Zeppelin ERC20 coins. When I was like, testing on testnet and just like, trying to figure out like, how everything worked, I was, experimenting with that. And that's when it occurred to me that the redemption rate is impacted by that total supply, which is reduced every time that burn function's run. And so that I think is really interesting, and yeah, so that's just kind of what I wanted to, come on here and show you that you could see that that's actually the case. Let's see what people say. Crypto Vince says kind of sucks that CMC isn't tracking Max anymore. Not that I care about their opinion. They probably don't like it. Yeah. I mean, it highlights, it's like, because it's kind of like hitting them from a different angle, it like highlights that they're handling it wrong. And so it probably like tripped up their own internal systems where they're like, okay, like we're flagging and suppressing hex. Now we need to, now this other thing that's like, hex related, what do we do with that? And so, yeah, it makes sense, but it does suck because, they are one of the most widely viewed websites on earth. Igloo says, hey, CryptoSlot says, dude, howdy, optimal timeline. Wild. Blue again every day with the fires. Love it. Yep. Instant. Wait, so for my charity idea, you can make an NFT that's created if the donor burns X amount of maxi, and that NFT can have a bunch of cool utility. Yeah, I mean, you absolutely could. Like if you make some incentive where, someone gets some benefit for burning maxi, it's like an airdrop. Okay, and this was the point that I was trying to make is that this like burning of the maxi mechanism, since the maxi is redeemable for hex at the end, in a way, burning, like if there's a big burning event on the maxi supply, in a way that's like a big airdrop to the maxi holders that it's like a tax-free airdrop, because when you get to like say you get another airdrop when you claim it, depending on your jurisdiction and your worldview and how you fit in with it, that may be considered a taxable event from your perspective because you took possession of something that has monetary value, because you minted the coins. But in this case, because the redemption only happens at the end, in this moment, one, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to pay gas to claim it. It just happens. And then two, you're not taking possession of any new coins. It's like what you already have is just, potentially redeemable for more at the end. And so I think this is a really awesome concept because it's a way to deliver a tax-free airdrop to maxi holders where, where there's no gas involved from the end user. You just wake up one day and suddenly each maxi is redeemable for a little bit more hex. And maybe, if that was the case, maybe, leading up to that event, people may be irrationally buying maxi so they can benefit from that multiplication of their redemption. And then, So like, maybe in the short term, there's like a little price run that benefits people, where it kind of feels like an airdrop. You got a bunch of value suddenly, but then also for people to just hold through till redemption, it's like an airdrop at the end. So that's like an even added incentive for people to hold on to their Maxi till redemption. And so in general, I think this is a really powerful concept, where it has a lot of awesome benefits for Maxi in general. Like anything that, like, because the Maxi supply can only go down, and you kind of see it here. Something I noticed today when we look at the Maxi contract. So these people tried to get their pledge hex transactions run, like at the end. They didn't have enough gas. Finally, their transactions went through, and they failed because you see that red arrow. They failed because it's after the pledge went, like after the minting window. And so, that the Maxi supply is strictly fixed. It cannot go up anymore. It can only go down. And if that redemption rate is calculated by that value, then if the denominator goes down, that means the result goes up. And so that the redemption rate not only every day increases from its earnings, it also could, another amplifier of how that increases is like, what is this total supply? And the total supply of Maxi can only go down. And so I think that's really, really awesome. Crypto Vince says, Briss. Crypto Sauce says, why didn't I think of burning Maxi? Yeah, I mean, that'd be awesome. Everyone would love you. If someone organized something that resulted in mass burning of Maxi, you'd be a hero. Like, people would truly be chanting your name. Brissologies, check your Twitter DMs. Retrostatic says, wow, that's amazing. Hodl says, but is the remaining Maxi supply able to redeem all the HEX and HEDRON in the end? Yep, 100. Like, that's how it ensures that it can redeem all at the end, is that redemption rate now increases, because the HEX and HEDRON that were going to be redeemable for that Maxi that got burnt, those are now equally spread out amongst all other redeemers, and that's done through that redemption rate mechanism. No. So it's all 100% of the HEX and HEDRON is redeemable if it's burnt, because what we were showing here, where's the contract? So the HEX redemption rate is only calculated at end stake, and it's calculated based on the total Maxi supply in that moment. So at the time that the HEX stake ends is when the total Maxi supply is calculated. So if the total Maxi supply goes down as a result of burning, then all the HEX and HEDRON are just redeemable for all the other Maxi that wasn't burned. And so each of those Maxi is now redeemable for more HEX and HEDRON. So that does not make HEX and HEDRON unclaimable. What does make HEX and HEDRON unclaimable is people like this poor soul who sent 4,189 Maxi to the Maxi contract. Must have been an accident, or maybe, so what this person is doing is they're providing permanent price support. This person will never sell their Maxi, but also it will never get redeemed. So all the HEX and HEDRON that's accounted for by this 4,189 Maxi, it will never get sold. The Maxi will never get sold, and those HEX and HEDRON will never get redeemed. So it's like that HEX, and it's like as if the HEX and HEDRON are just like permanently locked forever. So they're providing price support for Maxi, price support for HEX, and price support for HEDRON. But that's because that HEX and HEDRON is permanently locked and it can't be redeemed. Like, so burning the Maxi in other ways, like sending it to a contract address, or just like sending it to, I think if you even just send it directly to the 0 address, it doesn't actually update the total supply, only when you run the burn function. And so there are things that cause, ways that Maxi can be burnt, but are not resulting in total supply decreasing. And this is just one example of that. Blue Bump says, what just got here? What I missed? We just showed live an example of what happens when to the total Maxi supply value when Maxi gets burnt via the burn function in the contract. Here where we burnt, we ran the burn function, which transferred from this, my my little live stream demo wallet to the, it burnt MAXI, it burnt 1.234. What we saw, if you scroll up through the live chat, you'll see how the total supply value adjusted. And that total supply value is what is used to calculate the redemption rate. So as that total supply goes down, the redemption rate goes up. So by burning MAXI, it's like as if you're giving your HEX and HEDRON that it was redeemable for. It's like you're giving it to all other people who still hold their MAXI. So it's like a big airdrop. It's like a big tax-free airdrop. I feel like I have to burn to make the number 369 or 55. I mean, you can, but don't waste money you can't afford to burn. Like truly, you're burning it. But it's just like you're giving it to all your friends. We're all friends here. You have in Maximus, what are there now? Like, if we look at the total holders, 5,462 holders. It's like you're giving whatever amount you burn to all 5,462 people equally based on how much MAXI they hold. Cryptovin says, "Oh, I'm behind on the stream. Nice. That the remaining MAXI scales for redemption." Yep, that's right. Crypto Sloth says, "All right, Dipcatcher, you got my brain moving again." Thank you. Oaks Will says, "Good morning, Mexico." Oh yeah. Oh my God. We should acquire the Texaco gas stations and rename them Mexico. That's a good idea. Hexopal says, hey. Cryptosauce says, "Burning MAXI is a distribution model for a new token." Crypto Sloth knows what's going on. Boom, there it is. Well, cool. Yeah, so I don't have much time today. So I definitely wanted to, just cover this topic. I guess one other thing that I forgot to, literally, yesterday I forgot to do the intro, and today I forgot to do the intro, but so I guess I'll do it right now. So today's episode is brought to you by Oranges, and in honor of Oranges, they're paying me to show you guys the optimal way to peel an orange. So first, you're going to need to get an orange peeler. You can do it by hand, but I love using this orange peeler because it prevents all that stuff from getting in your fingernails. So this was all inspired by this video that I saw that tried to show a way to map a sphere into a perfect plane. And the use case they were discussing it about was how to map a globe of the Earth onto a flat map that you can look at that doesn't have a lot of distortion. And so like most of the like maps that you look at, they either make Greenland look massive, or or they distort some other part, or maybe they make the oceans look too big. And so in this video, this mathematician suggests that all maps, instead of being mapped to the Mercator projection, instead we should use an Euler projection. And an Euler spiral is it's a infinitely long spiral that captures all of the surface area of a sphere, like a globe or an orange. And so whenever I peel an orange, like when I'm eating my breakfast, I use my peeler and we do it this way. So this has the benefit of not making a mess, with all those little orange peel, little leftover things. And if you are good with it and you pay attention, like I was not, let's see if I can recover, you can keep it all in one piece. And so, I never give financial advice, but I will give, orange peeling advice. And so I advise to all of you to, next time you peel your oranges, to try to create an Euler spiral out of it. And because that is how we ensure that that there is minimal distortion from mapping from a sphere to a plane. So here we go. Let's see if we can do this without breaking the peel. And yeah, so There's our orange peel. It is. Can you see it? And now we have a perfectly peeled orange ready to enjoy. Again, this message is brought to you by our sponsor, Oranges. They remind you to eat your oranges. They have vitamin C, they have fiber, fluids, everything you need to give you some energy. And yeah, I guess that's where I'll part from you here. Thank you so much for joining us. Go enjoy an orange, peel it in a single spiral shape, and you're gonna have a great day. So thank you so much for joining us. Follow us on twitter.com/Maximus_DAO, t.me/MaximusDAO. Visit our website, maximus.cash. And, just keep along for the ride. I've been having a great time with you all, hopping on in the mornings, and I'll probably continue to do this. So thank you so much. And we'll talk to you later. Have a good one, everybody.